Mr. Trump has also signed a proclamation banning visas for foreign students to study at Harvard in an escalating dispute with the elite university. The directive said that Harvard had a history of foreign ties with potential security implications and failed to supply sufficient information about the illegal activities of students. It also says that many agitators behind anti-Semitic incidents were foreign students. Harvard has accused the president of retaliating because it refused to cede control of its governance. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now on the line from London by the Republican strategist and chair of Republicans Overseas UK, Greg Swenson. Great to see you, Greg, and back on your turf, British turf there. I'm sure you heard earlier that Trump proclamation banning entry to the US for citizens of African, Asian and Middle East countries, 12 countries. What provoked this move, apparently, is that attack by an Egyptian immigrant who had overstayed his visa, his attack on that pro-Israeli rally in Colorado. Why wasn't Egypt on the list?
Yeah, that's a great question, Charles. But I think a couple of points that you made. One of which is just, he's worried about countries that don't have proper vetting procedures. And of course, he's worried about potential incidents or additional incidents, whether it's illegal migrant crime or acts of anti-Semitism. So, that's important to the context of why the president made this decision. Now, did the attack in Boulder, Colorado, help? Maybe, I don't know. But, as you pointed out, Egypt's not on the list. And remember, 15 of the 17 9/11 terrorists in 2001 were from Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia's never had a ban. So I think he views that, yes, some will slip through the cracks, like this Egyptian chap and like the Saudis in 2001. But if the country is an ally of the United States, and if they have proper vetting procedures, although imperfect, no vetting procedures are perfect. So I think he's going to use his head and be smart about this.
Well, I mean, opponents say it appears to double down on the racist and anti-immigrant policies that the Trump administration has issued already in its first few months. I mean, do you have an explanation for why these particular countries, beyond what you just said, have been chosen? Because one recalls Mr. Trump falsely claiming, for instance, during the campaign, that Haitian immigrants were eating people. I never forget.
Yeah.
They were
Charles,
eating.
that was a good one.
They were eating people's pets. Extraordinary.
I think that was a moment where someone took something on Twitter quite literally. But Charles, kidding aside, look, they accused him of being racist and xenophobic and Islamophobic in 2017 when he did a travel ban. But I think if you look at the countries, there's no consistent tie in terms of ethnicity or religion. And so I think that the critics from the left and the corporate media in the U.S. are of course going to complain about this and claim that he's a racist. It's absurd. President Obama passed and signed the Visa Waiver Program Improvement and Terrorist Travel Prevention Act in December of 2015 that kept, and the four on the list were four of the six countries that were on President Trump's list in 2017. So it was Iran, Iraq, Sudan, and Syria had travel bans put on them by President Obama. And nobody called him a xenophobe or a racist. He also added Somalia, Libya, and Yemen a few months later. So, I think this is just typical Trump derangement syndrome. Of course, they're going to say it's racist. It's not. He's protecting Americans. And remember, the success that he's had on the border, on shutting the border down and preventing the mass illegal migration that we saw in the Biden years is polling at 70%. It polls at 68% with Hispanics. It polls at 67% with Kamala Harris voters. So, this is a president who's riding high on his immigration policy. So good for him.
But of course, he tried this sort of thing in 2017 when he targeted Muslim countries, and he was defeated multiple times in American courts for discriminating against people because of their religious background. I mean, how does this ban compare to the last one?
Well, I think it's a little more diversified. You have 12 countries, not just six, but also, as you pointed out, I mean, there was some consistency that they were all Muslim countries at that time. But again, I don't recall him losing in court. I don't doubt that, Charles. I just don't recall those cases. But I do know that President Obama was quite successful when he had travel bans from that act in December of 2015. It was just kind of ironic that President Trump had four of those countries on his list and seemed to get a lot more criticism about it. So, look, these are important issues for American voters. The illegal migrant crisis was ranked either number one or number two with most Americans. And so it was really important for President Trump to have success. He's reduced the illegal migration 99.9%. I mean, I think there was as few as 3 or 5 illegal migrants coming into the country last month. And that's just a dramatic reduction from the Biden years. So that's why these issues are polling so well.
And if you don't mind my asking you very briefly, I mean, we heard Donald Trump talking about Elon Musk just about an hour ago. He was in the White House. He said he doesn't know if he will have a great relationship with Elon Musk following Mr. Musk's strident criticism of that big, beautiful bill and the fact that it'll potentially raise the deficit enormously. Mr. Musk has just hit back, calling Mr. Trump's comments false. Does it look like that big buddy relationship is now over? I mean, as with many of Mr. Trump's political relationships.
Yeah. Look, I think it's not over. I think it's a speed bump for sure. And I think the criticism from Elon Musk is pretty consistent with a lot of criticism from the right, from the political right in America. I have been very critical of the big, beautiful bill. It's not perfect, but I think what's important to keep in mind is the president's in a different position. He's not in Congress. He's not in the Senate. He needs to get something passed, even if it's not perfect. Because if nothing passes, it'll be a massive tax increase on America, which will really decimate the economy. And so it's really important that something gets done. I wish it was better. I hope the Senate gets some more spending cuts into the bill and some more reforms. So we need a bill. I would like it to be, improved in the Senate. I think the president at this point is being a bit more neutral about it. Let the Senate do their job, send it back to the House, get it signed, and sent to the president's desk. I think that's the most important thing for the president. But many of us have some criticisms about the bill.
Greg, I want to thank you very much indeed.
Thanks,
Greg Swenson is the Republican strategist and chair of Republicans Overseas UK. He was talking to me on the line there from London.